Hello, and welcome to this week's Confessions from the Woods. I'm your host, RaRa. Welcome. How's your week been? My week's been tiring. I don't know about yours, but I would like to sleep for a whole day if possible. I don't know about you, but I would definitely want to do that. But anyways, yeah. So anyways, we're on to part 3. This episode is going to be called The Burning. And from where we left off, it looks like little did Adam and Viktor know was that something was in the cave, hidden in the dark, breathing and growling, waiting to come out for its next victim. Oh, so they found the cave. Alright. Yes, Adam and Viktor stumbled upon a cave in the woods. We'll get more to that cave later in this episode. So yeah, so let's just get this going. Alright, let's get this started. Alright, here is part 3, The Burning. Annabelle gets up out of Viktor's bed and begins putting her clothes back on. Annabelle and Viktor have been hooking up the last few months. According to Annabelle, it just sort of happened. One thing led to another after they started hanging out all of the time and smoking weed that they just said, fuck it. But Viktor had already told her that they would never date and that this was just a fuck buddy kind of thing. This hurt Annabelle on the inside because she really liked Viktor and really had hoped that eventually they would end up together like in one of those fairy tales that her mother used to read before bed. But she knew, like all good things, that this would eventually come to an end as well. Viktor all gets dressed and tells Annabelle that he wants to show her something. They end up taking a walk through the forest and off of the main trail to their house. Annabelle had walked through this part of the forest yet and wasn't familiar with any of it. They come across a large cave covered by weeping willow leaves. Annabelle hesitates at first. What are we doing here, and how did you find this? Adam and I came across it on the way home last night. Adam was too chicken shit to check it out with me, so I said I would check it out. So you thought you'd bring me, the chick who screams at the sight of a bug? Well, yeah, I have to have someone watch out while I check this baby out. Viktor, I'm not going in there. You have no idea what creature could be living in there waiting to, like, eat you or something. I will be fine. You will be right out here. I have a flashlight. Trust me. Now you stay here while I go check this cave out. The trees are beautiful, though, around it. It almost looks like the tree leaves have grown to protect the cave from intruders and keep it hidden. If you say so. Viktor walks into the cave entrance and turns on his flashlight. He walks inside the cave, and Annabelle watches as he disappears into the dark, hollow cave. Annabelle stands there for about 5 minutes and doesn't hear him anymore. Viktor? Are you still alive in there? Viktor? Viktor? Viktor comes running out of the cave and growls at Annabelle. She screams and falls backwards onto a big rock. Viktor stops and begins laughing. You fucking asshole! That hurt and you scared the shit out of me. I got you really good. You're an asshole. So did you find anything? No, nothing at all. Just a cave that leads to an open cave. Some dead animals. Ew, that is just gross. Good. So can we go now? Yes, we can go now. Good. I need a bong rip after that. Rick is pacing his bedroom talking to Charity on FaceTime. Rick tells her, I don't know, there's just been some weird shit going on here since the last time I talked to you. Like, I keep hearing breathing noises outside of my window at night before I go to sleep. And the other night I woke up to a huge bright light shining through my window. No one else saw it except for Tanner. His dad was apparently abducted the other night by supposed aliens. Rick, what in the fuck have you been smoking since you've been out there? Aliens, you're on crack, man. Do I really need to drive all the way there from Nebraska to kick your ass? I'm telling you, Charity, there is some weird shit going on in this town. I mean, back in 2000, apparently, there was some serial killer on the loose dressed like Santa Claus. This town is fucking weird, and I should probably come home soon. No, you need to stay there and get your fucking shit together. That is the only reason that you are in this situation that you are in, is because you have let your life get out of control. You need to regain some sort of existence after what happened. You aren't the same Rick that you were. And that's a good thing. Look, I'll be up there this weekend to see you, and I will have a surprise for you. Trust me, you will like it. You know how much I love surprises. But fine, I will be waiting for your visit. Look, I gotta go. But you will be fine. And quit smoking that Colorado shit so much. It will fry your brain. The FaceTime call ends, and Rick sits his phone on his bed and stares out his window into the trees for a moment. The sun is beginning to go down, and he remembers that Viktor is having a bonfire tonight at his place. Oh, and damn COVID. Oh, no, I'm kidding. Rick sits his phone on his bed and stares out the window for the trees for the moment. I already said that. Viktor is having a bonfire tonight at his place, and he has to get ready. Tanner will be there, so Rick must look his best for him. Welcome back. I love this thing. It's absolutely amazing. Anyways, the bonfire. Smoking's bad, children. Smoking's bad. Rick walks up to Viktor's trailer, around the side of the house to the open backyard. A bonfire was centered in the middle of the yard, surrounding by trees and a little pond. Rick immediately pulls out a joint and lights it up. Annabelle notices him and screams, "Hell yeah," really loud. Viktor motions for her to keep it down. Rick sits down between Tanner and John. Surrounding the bonfire, Tanner was on the edge, next was Rick, then John, Annabelle, Viktor, Henry, and finally Adam on the edge of that log. Viktor grabs the bag of marshmallows lying on the ground and begins to pass the bag around the group so that they can roast some marshmallows. Oh shit, my book fell. Okay. Let's get some marshmallows. That sounds good. Viktor begins talking about an old campfire story that he heard when he was a kid. So when I was a kid, my mother used to always take me to a summer camp, to get rid of me for 2 weeks in the summertime. But anyways, they would always tell us ghost stories by the campfire to scare us at night. This is when camping was fun. But there was this one story that stood out to me that always gave me the creeps, and that was the Pig Man. You see, the Pig Man was a camp counselor that was an outcast among his peers. The other counselors would make fun of him, tease him, and just downright degrade him, and he put up with it. One day, the kids themselves started making fun of him and began crying and made it worse. They teased him so bad that he ran off into the woods and was never heard of again. He never came back to the camp until one day, a little boy got lost in the woods and was crying up a storm. The little boy heard rustling through the trees like something was watching him. He got scared even more and cried more and more and more, until all of a sudden a man crawling on all fours jumps through the bushes and snatches the kid up. He drags the kid a little bit down the trail and stops. The man, who happens to be the old camp counselor, opens his mouth and tears the boy's right leg off. The little boy screams, and the Pig Man grabs him by his hair and pulls him closer and takes a bite out of his neck. He sits there and continues to eat the child until the bones remain. The little boy was never heard of again, and his bones were never found. Still to this day, the counselors told us that if you ever got lost in the woods, to never cry, because the Pig Man would find us and grab us up and eat us. Breaking the fourth wall. I don't know about you, but I got goosebumps fucking reading that. That creeps me out. The shit that I make up. Anyways. Annabelle chimes in and says, "And how old were you when they told you this story?" Jesus. Dude, I was like 8 or 10. But yeah, that's back when counselors and camping was fun. Now it's all political, be on your best behavior bullshit. The marshmallow bag finally makes it to Adam, and he grabs his stick and sticks a marshmallow on top and goes to stick it in the fire. Not paying attention, Adam gets a little close to the fire, and a flame burns his hand. He screams and says, "Fuck," really loud. At the exact same time that Adam is burned, a burst of lightning flashes in the sky, and a clap of loud thunder shakes the ground around them. Rick casually says, "The devil just clapped and danced on our souls." Annabelle says, "That's some deep shit, man. And that was creepy as fuck." Viktor says, "Yeah, Adam, are you alright?" Adam says, "Yeah, I just burned my hand. Fucking hurt for a moment." Viktor pulls out his homemade fat blunt and lights it up. This should help everyone's mood. Henry puts his hand on Adam's leg and rubs it. He smiles and says, "I hope you are okay. Did you need me to take a personal look at it?" Adam looks at his hand and back at Henry and realizes that Henry is talking about sex. Adam was down for that, he decided. Henry gets up and begins walking back towards Viktor's trailer. Adam puts his stick down and throws his marshmallow in his mouth and begins following Henry. Tanner watches Adam follow Henry into the house and looks back at Rick. Rick takes the blunt from John and takes a big hit and begins coughing. Not yet. He passes the blunt back around and blows out smoke towards the bonfire. Tanner asks him if he's all right. Rick smiles at him and grabs his arm and says, "Yeah, that was just a really big hit, but I'm good. How are you doing?" "I'm doing all right. Pretty lonely now that Dad is gone. They still haven't found anything about his disappearance, and no one will believe me." Rick puts his arms around Tanner and says, "I believe you." And he leans in and kisses Tanner on the lips for a brief second. But Tanner turns his head after a couple seconds. Rick's heart was beating so fast that he didn't know if it was the weed or Tanner's lips that just made him melt. But he felt something. Tanner, on the other hand, felt confused and embarrassed. He wasn't a big person on public displays of affection, and this bothered him. He grabs his stomach and stands up. He looks at Rick and says, "I'm sorry, but I've got to go home." He walks back up to the house and leaves. Rick, looking stumped and feeling like a total loser, sits on the log next to John and ponders what he did wrong. This made him depressed and wish he had a bottle of whiskey right now because he would be drinking it down to drown his sorrows. He didn't understand why no one wanted him and why everyone was afraid to love him. He fucked it up with Tanner, and he shouldn't have leaned in to kiss him, but it felt so right at the time. Oh well, he thought. Maybe this was a way for Tanner to realize that it was either time to shit or get off the pot. He didn't know, but he did know that he was depressed now and didn't want to think any more about it for the rest of the night. He snaps out of it when a loud howling noise is heard through the trees of the forest behind them. They all stop talking and listen carefully to the creature that just made the horrific sound. This creeped them all out, and they decided to put the bonfire out for the night and all head home. Annabelle stays with Viktor that night in his bed with him. John walks back home alone. Tanner walks into his cold, lonely, dark house and goes straight up to his bedroom. Rick decides to walk to Tanner's house. He rings the doorbell. Tanner answers the door shirtless, of course, and Tanner embraces Rick in a big hug. He pulls back and kisses Rick on the lips. Rick and Tanner walk back inside the house and close the door behind them. Tanner takes Rick's hand and pulls him into his bedroom, and they fall onto the bed and embrace each other. They both just lay there and hold each other the rest of the night. Aw, they're cuddling. Meanwhile, back at Hilary's house, Hilary is in the kitchen of her house drinking a cup of coffee and holding a knife in her left hand, gripping it strongly. Strongly? Is that even a word? Sharing. She is staring down at the hallway at Adam's room, and it wasn't because he was having sex with Henry. It was because of something else. Something else that no one knew but Hilary, and it had all started when Adam burned his hand. Hilary knew, and she had to make things right. Meanwhile, back over at Viktor's trailer, Viktor finishes inside Annabelle. Oh, yeah. And gets up out of bed and stands on the patio and lights up a cigarette. That sounds good. He stares into the dark forest, wondering what noise that was, and if it had to do with the cave that he found earlier. The darkness was scary. To him, it was just another reason to venture through it, to find the answers to what he was looking for. He breathes in and out his cigarette and just listens to the trees speak. Oh, I can just picture it now. Breeze blowing, trees laying. Oh, so relaxing. Yeah, totally. The next day, after Henry secretly leaves the house, Hilary was still standing in the kitchen when Adam comes out of his room in his boxers and walks into the kitchen. He jumps and says, "Mom, holy fuck, you scared me. What are you doing standing in the kitchen?" "Did something happen last night that you need to tell me about?" Hilary asks. No, I don't think so." "You are a liar. You are lying." "Mother, I have no idea what the fuck you're even talking about. God, get a grip." "Let me see your hand." "My what? Hand? You mean this? This little burn that I got from the fire pit last night? Really? Get a grip. Go to your room until I say you can come out." "Are you fucking serious right now? I'm not 5. You can't just throw me in my room for something stupid like this." "I said get to your room now," Hilary says as she pulls a knife from behind her and waves it in front of him. "Fine. Jesus. Calm the fuck down. Fucking spaz." Adam walks back to his room and slams his door shut. Hilary walks over to his room down the hallway and takes the key out and locks the door. Adam struts around in his room and thinks to himself why she is acting so crazy. He has never seen his mother like this. She has always been super kind and friendly, and this was just completely out of her character. Especially to threaten him with a knife, this bothered him. He hears the front door slam shut and walks over to his window. Hilary is leaving the house and begins walking on the trail into the forest. But she was going on a trail that no one ever uses. Adam gets dressed really quickly and opens his window and crawls out and begins following her to see where she is going. At Tanner's house, Rick is awake staring at Tanner sleeping and notices how beautiful his body is. From the chiseled cheekbones to the arch in his smooth back, rounding out his firm, tight, bubbly buttocks, Rick was absolutely in love. He got really turned on all of a sudden and needed to release some tension. Rick slips his hand down his briefs and starts stroking his dick. He jerks off for a couple of minutes while staring at Tanner, and then puts his left hand on Tanner's butt cheek and begins to orgasm. He comes, finishes up, and decides to get up and get dressed. Typical man. He doesn't want to disturb Tanner, so he leaves a note telling him goodbye. Again, typical man. Rick walks out of the house and begins to head back home. Again, typical man. Booyah. The woods. Hilary comes out of the woods on a trail on the end. Hilary comes out of the woods on a trail on the road by Viktor's trailer, and she crosses and starts on a path on the other side of the road. Viktor is smoking a blunt on his patio when he notices that Hilary is walking on the path that leads to that cave that he found. He begins walking down the road and onto the path that Hilary had taken. After Viktor disappears into the woods, Adam appears on the road and doesn't know where Hilary went. He mumbles, "Damn it," to himself and starts walking back towards the house. Hilary comes upon the cave underneath the weeping willow tree. She begins to cry and then walks into the cave. Viktor came to the end of the path from the woods and looks upon the dark cave covered in branches and leaves from the tree. He sat there for about 30 minutes and watched carefully as Hilary walks out of the cave, and as she turns around to face the cave, another human being walks out of that cave. This human being is completely naked and looks like they just came out of a cocoon or something covered in jelly-like substance. Viktor was in complete shock as to what he was seeing with his own two eyes. This thing, this creature, this person, this boy, this. It was Adam, or something that looked like Adam. A doppelganger, perhaps? Viktor didn't know, but he was in complete and utter shock. Hilary and the changeling began walking down the trail back to her house. Viktor stands up from behind some bushes and says, "Holy fuck." Welcome back. Well, there you have it. The cave in the woods brought back a doppelganger, a changeling. Ooh. But he looked just like Adam. So who the fuck is this Adam? And who the fuck is Hilary? And what the fuck is going on? A fucking doppelganger from a cave hidden in the woods? Really? Anyways, tonight's episode also brought you a sneak peek of next season's theme, which I'll be mentioning that towards the end of the show. But if you can take a guess and watch, if you want to watch tonight's episode over again, and I believe it's going to be a short episode. I don't know. We'll see. But if you want to rewatch it and listen to what I say, there is a hint about what next season's theme will be. So that will be fun. But yeah, so yeah, we got that. What else? Just Tanner and Rick kind of got closer, so that's good. What else? That's pretty much it. And that killer fucking song. You should see me in a crown. Yeah, good song. Anyways, all right, that's it for part 3. So yeah, tune in next week for part 4. We only got, what is there? How many episodes? Hold on. There's 7. Okay, so we got 4 more episodes left. Wow. So we're almost halfway done. Whoop, whoop. That's crazy when it's shorter. Anyways, that's it. So tune in next week. Don't forget to like RaRa and RaRa Media, RaRa Media Group now. Yeah, and everybody have a fabulous week, Easter weekend and Easter week. So yeah, good things are coming your way. So everybody have a good night and deuces. Cut.